Studying abroad enhances all the linguistic skills students need to complete their studies, and of course that is very important. It also makes them more understanding about other ways of thinking.
Well, yeah, when I first got to Italy, I didn't speak any Italian. Well, I knew the basics. I had completed 2 semesters, but I couldn't speak. And I got over there, though, and I had Italian roommates, and they didn't speak any English. And at first it was really difficult because I felt I was in isolation for about the first month because I couldn't speak with anyone, and that was probably one of the roughest parts, was just not being able to communicate for about a month. But I mean, that also really pushed me to learn the language. So it wasn't hard after about 2 months, 3 months. I was, I didn't speak perfectly, but I could express myself and have conversations.
I feel like I'm fairly fluent in Spanish now. I would say I am fluent, although I don't think that anyone can ever be completely fluent unless you're raised in both cultures. So that's one of the things I found out when I studied abroad.
So you were able to pick up the language while you were there?
Yes. I think it depends on whether what kind of people you hang out with. If you hang out with people in that culture, you're going to learn the language. But I know a lot of students, they didn't hang out. They hung out more with their American friends and definitely did not learn the language while they were down there. So
you can hardly imagine that the language can be learned in a different place where the language is not spoken. Just to take Chinese as an example, and I cannot imagine that the American students can learn Chinese in America instead of in China. So it's very vital for the learners of this language to go to the culture, go to a country where the language is spoken. And in terms of the time, probably if you spend about 2-3 months or half a year in China, that would be better than probably a whole year or 2 years of study of the language in this country.
The first time I went to Toulouse, it was for an entire year, and I did not speak French very well. I had taken it in high school, but by the end of it, that was probably the best achievement, or the best achievement I've had, I guess, at the end of the year. When you get there, you don't understand what people are saying to you, and a year later you speak the language fluently. The language is huge. Like, you get there, you think you know what you're doing, you can't even get a bus ticket, Like, you say something, everyone looks at you like you're an idiot, but overcoming that's amazing.
It was really hard to learn when I was trying to just learn it in class. So, because we didn't ever talk in class. So what I ended up doing was going to the library, to the children's section and checking out all of the books that I liked in English and then reading them in French, and that helped me out with my vocabulary a lot.
It was good. I had a lot of Spanish going in to the study abroad experience, and that helped a lot. But I wasn't nearly as prepared as I thought I was. Day one, stepping out into Valencia, Spain, getting out of the plane and talking to the first person that I had in front of me was kind of an eye-opening experience. It was tough because the language barrier was tough, but the accent barrier was difficult. I wasn't prepared for how thick the accent was. And it took me a while. It was probably a month to 2 months before I felt really comfortable enough to just sit down and have a relaxed conversation with anybody, whether it would be my roommates or just friends from class, people that I would meet around town, things like that. So.
And when you stop I think the problem with learning a language is at this age you ask too many questions. You ask, why is it like this? Why is it like that? When you stop asking questions and you just say it's like this because it is, that's when I got over it, and that's when everything fell into place for me. When I just was like, okay, it is what it is because it is. So.
I would say at first it was very redundant. They asked me to retake a course I took here at OU, but that's because my Japanese was not that good. And so it was kind of bumpy. But after, I would say, 6 to 7 months, one day, a switch happened in my head to where I could understand everything that was being said around me, and I could speak more clearly and think in the language, so to speak.
Well, the big advantage of studying abroad, especially if you're taking intensive language coursework, at least as part of your curriculum, is that